Yeah. So it's not in YouTube's interest. That's the problem. There's no. Why would they do it? Unless people are stopping to watching YouTube.
Yeah, because people will stop doing it. Basically, if it becomes too narrow a thing, YouTube is just going to be a clip show, basically a clips of TV show.
Can they do that? I mean, doesn't that have the same problem?
Well, clips of TV shows that the TV shows don't mind being on YouTube.
Oh yeah. But
that's basically what it'll become.
I think
without the creators, YouTube is it's a waste of time.
But I mean, the music stuff and that kind of stuff, the clips, it's such a small part of it. YouTube, it's what my son watches. It's the PewDiePie generation. Is that there is an entire segment of society which watches YouTube instead of TV.
Yeah,
and they don't. But the videos they're watching are not the videos that we even would even be on our radar otherwise.
But if YouTube orientates itself towards people who aren't particularly happy with creators making money on YouTube, with anything associated with them, then the creators like us, won't bother doing it. I mean, Rick Beato said it takes him about 12 hours to put a video together. So he spent 12 hours to put a video together, the 20 best debut albums, which is essentially advertising for these albums, only for some idiot in Germany to flag it as their content and to shut it down.
Yeah, but
why would you do it?
It's that, unfortunately, even that is small beans. Even with 1 million subscribers, is fairly small beans for YouTubers. The ones that make the most money have bought a mansion with the money from YouTube, and they fill the pool with plastic balls and jump in and film themselves doing it, and buy massive Lego bricks and build a house out of Lego bricks and all this kind of stuff. They're the people. That he was watching a video. This guy, this annoying git. He's very smart, actually. It's all about marketing. They all wear the T-shirt. Unspeakable I've advertised the thing there. So they do all the merchandise and stuff like that. It's very smart. But he bought a Lamborghini, I think, or a Ferrari or something, and they did that as a video. Everything he does is to make it as a video. It's just him pissing about. Whereas you said that guy took him 12 hours to make this video, and he just messes about, and they just film it, and they hire someone to edit the video and bung it on there. And they do it every day, and that's their life.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It's basically YouTube. The YouTube algorithm seems to favour rubbish, useless content.
That's what the kids watch.
It's the same with TV, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we are. We're becoming the old fogies. What's this? This isn't what I watch. Why aren't you watching the things I watched when I was young?
I suppose I just use YouTube differently. I use it as a sort of to watch things that I'm interested in that you won't get on TV.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, but it's the thing. I mean, it's a sort of BBC Four. There's some fantastic electronics videos, and there was someone who'd made a Lego. What's it called? Mindstorm. Lego Mindstorm, which is there. That's the old Lego Mindstorms. To Rubik's Cube solver. Actually doing it physically and moving the Rubik's Cube, which was awesome. Lots of engineering and the 8-bit guy is really good, who does computers.
You can always tell when someone's enthusiastic about something, for some reason, no matter how rubbish the production values are of the video,
doesn't matter, does it?
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's just sort of
and I mean that kind of it's bypassed in the same way the rubbish record companies were bypassed by the sort of late 90s, early 00s internets, when you could just, I don't need to sign to a label, I'll just release my own music. It's kind of the same thing, and that stuff would never get made. You get the odd one, and it'd be like the best TV show you've ever seen. It's so good, they made it, but there's hundreds of them on YouTube, so you do.
I noticed actually my recommendations on YouTube are just rubbish now.
Shall we do it?
I don't know what's.
Let's do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to open YouTube. Okay, I open YouTube. Here we go. And Atheist Experience. I went back on watching that again. I don't know why. It's just an endless loop. Thin Lizzy. Someone talking about Thin Lizzy. Deep Cut Dive. I've just discovered. That's pretty good. That's quite a good channel. Deep cuts of albums. Richard Dawkins, Peter Serafinowicz show. That's amazing. That's the whole of the Peter Serafinowicz show. There's clips of everything, and there's whole episodes of everything on there. And I'm a little bit uncomfortable about that. That's the guy who should be world famous, and he's famous, but I think I watched an interview. You know, he does the tick.
Yeah.
I think he went to America because he couldn't get anything made living in London. He was getting no work. So genuinely, he went to America to do something for Netflix and whatever. You know, goodness me, a lot of atheisty stuff on here. That's misleading, I should say. I'm not watching that all the time. There's Christopher Hitchens, spelt wrong.
I still get Christopher Hitchens recommendations, and I reckon I've watched every single video there is out there.
And we, yeah. You put it on, oh, I've heard this. It's not really... I mean, if you watch the whole thing of him, it's about something, but really most of them are clips, and it's not really about the subject. It's just owned. It's an owning video of, you know, a zinger. Two Grannies rock Fear of the Dark. Badge Holder Blues, Led Zeppelin. I think that's for badge holders only. A couple of days after. Listen to this, Eddie. Another one. Another atheist one. There you go. That's my 8. Do you want to open your YouTube?
Yeah.
And we'll see what it is.
So I've just got to, because I get ads as well, so I'll feel right. Noam Chomsky, the Stony Brook interviews part 2.
I don't get Chomsky. Isn't that interesting?
I got I'm probably getting Chomsky because I watched one with Jonathan Friedland the other night, and I was quite intrigued because Jonathan Friedland is he's a writer in The Guardian who was one of the writers at front line against the Corbynistas and Corbyn.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Chomsky came out in support of Jeremy Corbyn, or said I'd vote for him. I've never heard Noam Chomsky say that, but you know, could be wrong. So
yeah, I'd vote for him.
How that went, whether it was confrontational or what. So now I'm getting Chomsky videos, but I mean, I've generally watched all the Chomsky stuff in the past.
He's getting harder to understand what he's saying. Now he's getting to very old.
He's really old.
Yeah.
He's 84 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I know there's a thing about him talking deadpan, which is important. He's not trying. Yeah. You know, it's just about what he's saying, but I really can't hear what he's saying anymore.
Actually, I mean, that was one of the points he made, was that sort of like appeals to emotion in an argument really turns him off. Mm-hmm. So he was saying Martin Luther King. He says it was all appeals to emotion. And
it was.
I just don't get anything out of listening to it.
Mm.
He's obviously a very logically minded person.
Yes.
Which I thought was quite interesting. Which is how he holds himself well. I mean, the main thing about Chomsky is how he holds himself so well.
Yeah. In
conversation, you know.
I mean, I think that's really, you take out the politics, that's really one of the reasons why people don't like him, I think.
Yeah.
And that he's not being emotional, which is what you're supposed to do. You know.
He's very good at justifying what he thinks.
Yeah.
And basing it in evidence.
Yeah.
And
he just says he doesn't cut it into a soundbite, he just says the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fully described. Listen, now. Thing is, I really like his. I found something once on his linguistic stuff, and it's really interesting. And it's really hard to get hold of the linguistic stuff because you always get sucked back into the politics.
Yeah. We studied Chomsky at university.
Right.
Did natural language processing. He came over there.
Oh, I did that.
That was my first sort of exposure to him, really.
All right.
34-year-old Wayne Rooney is sensational. Don't know why that's coming up. Back to the Future blooper reel, Michael J. Fox movie.
Excellent.
3.4 million views. Salt and Tar, episode 96. What a catch! And that's about life on a yacht. People who've got yachts, they go around sailing and filming it, sort of thing. Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Season 9, Episode 1.
Oh, that's really boring. I was so disappointed. There's a couple of good episodes, but mostly I was just,
Yeah.
So it's a list of famous people, and you think, wow, this is going to be good, and it isn't.
Yeah, it's I can't remember her name now. She's in all the funny films. That'll come to me soon. X64 Assembly Tutorial 1, getting into X64 ASM from C++. That's a channel I just subscribed to, actually, called What's a Creel. He's like this Australian guy, and he does really interesting stuff.
Cool.
In assembler and C++. I was watching, he was writing his own AES encryption thing. He's got like about 5 videos setting it all up and all that, and explaining how it works. I was watching that last night, so that's why that's come up. And look what we've got here: Christopher and Peter Hitchens pre-debate discussion, 2008.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
it's
that's 7. That is. And the next one's another Noam Chomsky one.
That one with his brother is disappointingly reasonable. It's a reasonable discussion. Yeah. It's like, well, this, I don't really want to hear about this. What you want is the vitriol and the zingers.
Well, I think sort of the best bit of it is Peter Hitchens' reaction afterwards, whenever he refers to it, about Christopher Hitchens fanboys who haven't really read what he's written and stuff like that. There's an element of bitterness there.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a thing. I mean, I bet Christopher Hitchens is going to be very popular with the young from people who've never read any of his books, just from watching YouTube, because he's just great.
I think I bought a couple of his books. There was it Letters to a Nonconformist or something like that, and there was one, Trial of Kissinger or Henry Kissinger or something like that. He's really hard to read, I think. He's sort of...
You said this, didn't you? Yeah, you don't think he's a good writer, actually. He wasn't as good as he's supposed to be.
I felt like, I've got to work. Either it's not engaging me, or the argument he's making is not clear. In either case, that's not the mark of a great writer.
Yeah. I mean, but if you're that good at debating, you can get a book career out of it. In truth, whereas Dawkins is kind of the opposite, and Dawkins is terrible. He gets really angry. Dawkins is best when you watch him with people who agree with him. But when he's debating, he goes bright red and gets really cross. But Dawkins is a good writer, though. He's very accessible, isn't he?
Yeah, Dawkins is a good writer. I mean, Christopher Hitchens is a writer, was a writer. That was his job. I mean, the debate thing only really seemed to come forward with the New Atheist movement, and he was quite a Johnny-come-lately to that as well.
He was, yeah.
He wasn't there from the beginning.
And he was the king. As soon as he came in, he was amazing. It was brilliant.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's all really quite boring stuff. It's stuff I've seen. Stuff I'm subscribed to anyway. There's nothing there that I really want to watch. Nothing that makes me think, I've got to watch that.
Okay,
on Wayne Rooney.
We'll have to bring this video to a close. Let's just go back again. I'm wondering if I get different recommendations on different computers. What am I getting now? Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a lot of difference. Steve Shives, he's quite good. He talks about Star Trek. He talks about politics as well, which is much less interesting. I wouldn't watch his politics, it's quite boring, but his Star Trek's great. I like the fact that he takes Star Trek seriously, but not too seriously. And that he sees how silly it is when it's silly, and he sees how good it is when it's, good. When it's good.